And I would tell you, Dan, I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say that they have certainly done permanent damage to the relationship between the conference and Notre Dame.
That's Notre Dame's athletic director criticizing the ACC, the conference Notre Dame doesn't play football in, but relies on for nearly every other sport. The same conference that gives Notre Dame scheduling flexibility, bowl access, and a home for 24 of their programs. And yet, this is the relationship he says is damaged, because Notre Dame is the only power level school in college football that doesn't have to win a conference, doesn't have to play in a conference championship game, doesn't share its TV money, and still has a protected path to the playoff. And whether you love them or hate them, what they've negotiated is something no other program in the sport is allowed to have. Not because Notre Dame broke the rules, but because they've grown used to operating outside them. This isn't a story about cheating, and it's not about hating Notre Dame. It's about how one school negotiated a position in college football that no one else has ever been allowed to replicate. Here's the reality. Much of Notre Dame's advantage was earned through decades of smart decisions, national scheduling, media foresight, and on-field success. But once that advantage was established, the system never fully adjusted. Today, every other major program operates under one set of rules. Notre Dame operates under another. And as college football enters the biggest transformation in its history, super conferences, expanded playoffs, NIL, revenue sharing, the question isn't just whether the sport can still afford exceptions. It's whether Notre Dame still deserves to be one, and whether college football has outgrown the very exception it once helped create. Let's start with how Notre Dame got here, because this didn't happen by accident. Notre Dame became a national brand long before TV existed. In the early 1900s, Catholic immigrants were shut out of elite universities, and Notre Dame became their flagship. When the Klan marched on South Bend in 1924, football became cultural identity and pride, not just sport. Then came media. While most schools were regional, Notre Dame went national. The first broadcast came in 1922. By the 1950s, 190 radio stations, including Armed Forces Radio, aired Irish games worldwide. Knute Rockne scheduled USC in Los Angeles, Army in New York, and opponents across the country to build fans everywhere. And the mythology followed. Grantland Rice's Four Horsemen column, Rockne becoming America's first celebrity coach, and later Hollywood films like Knute Rockne, All-American, and Rudy cemented Notre Dame as more than a team. They became a story, a symbol, a national identity. Notre Dame didn't build a regional fan base, they built a country. And that national identity is where their negotiating power starts. Notre Dame earned its platform, but then they learned how to leverage it better than anyone. In 1990, while every other school pooled TV rights through the College Football Association, Notre Dame walked away and signed the first exclusive national broadcast deal in college football history, NBC. 5 years, $38 million. That changed everything. Notre Dame kept every dollar, while conference teams shared revenue. The NBC deal evolved into tens of millions per year, giving Notre Dame complete financial independence in football. And unlike conference schools, they didn't have to split media money with anyone. Then came bowl leverage. Under the Bowl Championship Series from 1998 to 2013, Notre Dame had a special rule written just for them. If Notre Dame finished in the top 8 of the final BCS standings, they received an automatic bid to a major BCS bowl. No other independent, no other school outside the 6 automatic qualifying conferences had that guarantee. Notre Dame could make a BCS bowl without winning a conference championship because they didn't play in a conference championship. Between 1998 and 2013, 19 BCS conference champions finished below the top 8 in the final standings. Notre Dame never had that problem. If they finished top 8, they were in. Guaranteed. But here's where it gets controversial. After the 2000 season, Virginia Tech was ranked number 5 in the BCS standings with a 10-1 record. Their only loss? To number 3 Miami in a game where their star quarterback Michael Vick played only 2 series as he was injured the week before against Pitt. The Fiesta Bowl had 2 at-large spots to fill. Oregon State at number 6 was in. The choice for the second spot came down to Virginia Tech at number 5 or Notre Dame at number 11. The Fiesta Bowl chose Notre Dame. Not because they were ranked higher, they weren't. Not because they had a better record. They didn't. Both were 10-1. Not because they had a tougher schedule. Virginia Tech's strength of schedule was ranked 14th. Notre Dame's was 42nd. The Fiesta Bowl chose Notre Dame because of TV ratings and ticket sales, because of the national appeal of the Notre Dame brand. Virginia Tech got sent to the Gator Bowl, a $1.7 million difference in payout. Michael Vick's final college game was in the Gator Bowl, where he was named MVP in a 41-20 win over Clemson before declaring for the NFL draft. Meanwhile, Oregon State destroyed Notre Dame 41-9 in the Fiesta Bowl. Remember this? Oregon State receiver Chad Johnson, later known as Ocho Cinco, caught a 74-yard touchdown pass, then casually dropped the ball as if he'd crossed the goal line. It was Notre Dame's worst bowl loss in 28 years, but Notre Dame got the BCS money and the national TV exposure, while a one-loss team ranked 6 spots higher watched from a lower-tier bowl. College football missed out on a potential 5 versus 6 matchup, Michael Vick against Ocho Cinco. Instead, we got a 41-9 blowout for the ratings. So now we're back to this year, and we all know what happened. Notre Dame finished 10-2, hovered inside the top 10 all season, and looked playoff bound. Then Miami jumped them without playing. The ACC amplified Miami clips and even replayed the game that beat Notre Dame 9 times in 2 days. Notre Dame was furious. Bavakwa said the ACC had permanently damaged the relationship. But here's the part that matters. Starting in 2026, Notre Dame has a written agreement with the CFP that grants playoff access at top 12, not top 8 like the BCS, and not the conference champion standard everyone else faces. This year, number 11 Notre Dame would be in, because their bylaw is different. And unlike past eras, there's no question where the advantage sits now. College football today isn't the sport Notre Dame negotiated in the 90s. The SEC and Big Ten became super leagues. Texas, Oklahoma, USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington moved. Conferences built billion-dollar media deals. NIL and revenue sharing reshaped recruiting and finances. Everyone centralized power. Notre Dame stayed outside the system. Here's what makes this whole thing absurd. The ACC has bent over backwards for Notre Dame for years. Notre Dame isn't a football member, but they get scheduling stability, bowl access, and a home for 24 other sports. They keep every dollar of their NBC money while ACC stadiums sell out at 90% when Notre Dame shows up, versus 23% for other conference games. In 2023, Notre Dame had full voting power on whether to add Stanford and Cal to the ACC. Despite not being a football member, both schools got added. Notre Dame improved their schedule, paid nothing. Then in 2020, when independents almost killed their season, the ACC saved them, made them a temporary football member, gave them a championship game berth, split revenue with them. Notre Dame made the playoff, then immediately went back to independence. No other school in America could negotiate that. And now, with 9-game conference schedules everywhere, Notre Dame is running out of teams willing to schedule them. USC might end the rivalry. Texas threatened to cancel their series. The question isn't, can Notre Dame stay independent? It's, will anyone still play them? We know the answer to that, but my question is, should they? Let me be fair first. Your team would do the exact same thing if they could, and Notre Dame still has value. In 2023, they averaged over 5 million viewers per game. They fill stadiums. They helped build this sport, no question. And Notre Dame fans have a legitimate counter-argument. The BCS gave automatic bowl access to lower-ranked conference champs every year. Purdue made a Rose Bowl unranked. Wake Forest, Pitt, Maryland, all earned BCS spots ranked lower than any Notre Dame team ever did. Their point? The system always rewarded brands. Don't blame us for playing the game better than everyone else. And honestly, there's truth to that. Notre Dame didn't create the system. They just exploited it better than anybody. Remember when Texas tried to do this with the Longhorn Network? But here's the reality in 2025. Alabama made 10 appearances in the top 50 most watched games last year. Georgia had 8. LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, Penn State, 50. Didn't crack the top 10 in average viewership. And once their playoff dreams died, their TV numbers collapsed. They're still valuable, just not different rulebook valuable anymore. Honestly though, after watching how Notre Dame reacted to being left out of this year's playoff, it pisses me off. Notre Dame has operated with special rules for 30 years. Independence, private TV money, no conference championship. now guaranteed top 12 playoff access, while every other school adapted, merged, sacrificed, negotiated, and shared. And Notre Dame's response to missing the playoff was to go on national TV and accuse the ACC, the conference that saved their season in 2020, gives them a home for 24 sports, and fills their stadiums, of causing permanent damage. Man, give me a break. At Notre Dame keep their own rule book? Should they be forced into the ACC or Big Ten? How about the Sun Belt? Or is independence still good for college football? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you're a Notre Dame fan about to destroy me, I respect it. That's what makes college football great.